We would just ask that you state your name for the record and that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. I would note that prior to today's meeting, we did receive some public comments by email, and those are available in the back of the room and will be part of the minutes. Is there anyone here for public comment?
But I'm here to ask for your consideration of supporting not only the people who live in the Yukon area of the county, but also for the entire county, that you would take a stand to reach out to the DEP and voice your opposition to any new permits for Max Environmental in Yukon. Particularly right now for the air quality permit, you would need to submit comments before August 11th. This company has a long history. They've been there for 50 years. The history of violations and contamination and pollution is very, very long and detailed. This is personal to me because when I lived there, my entire family became exposed to these chemicals, and we are still dealing with the health effects. There's a lot of people in the community who are sick today, and it's ongoing. It's been generational, and it's time for all of us in this county to say enough is enough. Primarily what they're dumping at this time contains a lot of high levels of lead, and I know Commissioner Chu, lead eradication is near and dear to your heart. No amount of lead exposure is safe for a child, and the children of Westmoreland County certainly deserve to have clean air. And we all know that contamination doesn't stop at the property boundary. And the other thing that I would like to emphasize is that this company has shown that it doesn't matter what permit modifications or rules they are instructed with following. Time and time again, they have violated those. They have a complete disregard for environmental laws and parameters of their permits. So I'm urging you to please take that stand, not only against this air quality permit, but against any ongoing operations there. The people in Yukon and all of Westmoreland County really need your help on this matter. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to give public comment this morning?
Good morning and thank you, Commissioners. My name is Mike Partis. I'm a resident of Penn Township and chair of the Norwin-Penn Trafford area Democrats. I'm here today to ask that you strongly oppose the renewal of air quality permit number 65-00101 requested by Max Environmental Technologies for their hazardous waste treatment and disposal facility in Yukon, Westmoreland County. This facility, formerly known as Mill Service, has operated since 1963 and is the only RCRA Subtitle C hazardous waste landfill in the entire state of Pennsylvania. Over the years, Max has amassed an extensive record of environmental violations, including releases of toxic substances into the air, soil, groundwater, and surface waters of Yukon and the surrounding areas. These include dangerous pollutants such as lead, hexavalent chromium, arsenic, cadmium, solvents, and acids. According to US EPA's 2019 National Emissions Inventory, Max Environmental was the single largest source of lead in Westmoreland County, releasing approximately 2.3 tons of lead into the air of the Yukon and surrounding areas. This is staggering. It's an unacceptable amount of airborne toxins affecting the health of our residents, wildlife, and the environment. The Yukon community has lived in the shadow of this pollution for decades. Residents have reported elevated levels of cancer, neurological diseases such as multiple sclerosis and myasthenia gravis, seizure disorders, infertility, miscarriages, learning disabilities in children, and chronic respiratory and immune system issues. These health impacts are not confined to the immediate area. Pollution does not recognize property boundaries. This is a county-wide issue affecting us all. Max Environmental is currently operating under 2 federal consent orders due to serious violations of hazardous waste and clean water laws. Their long-standing history of noncompliance and environmental disregard should disqualify them from receiving any new or renewed air quality permits. I ask that you, as our elected representatives, stand up for the health, safety, and future of your constituents. I ask that you contact Thomas Joseph, DEP Environmental Manager, Southwest Regional Office, 400 Waterfront Drive, Pittsburgh, PA 15222, or via email to tjoseph@pa.gov, and provide him with a written letter opposing Max's air permit that includes the following. Identification of the permit 6500101. Request that DEP hold a public hearing in Yukon related to this permit. Acknowledging that past violations have demonstrated that their overall failure to properly operate and maintain this waste facility. Max is currently operating under 2 federal consent orders, and they have a lengthy history of noncompliance with state and federal laws. And finally, requesting that DEP deny any new air quality permits to Max due to their history of noncompliance and disregard for the health of the people of Yukon. Comments must be received to DEP by August 11th. Your prompt response is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Good morning. My name is Kathleen Conley-Tobin. I'm a Hempfield resident and a constituent. I'm here to urge you also to oppose the renewal of the air quality permit 6500101 for Max Environmental in Yukon. And frankly, this is a no-brainer. Max, I'm going to repeat a few things that you've already heard here today, but Max, formerly Mill Service, has a long record, decades, of serious environmental violations. In 2019 alone, they emitted 2.3 tons of emissions to Yukon and the surrounding areas of Westmoreland County. It's the worst emitter of lead county-wide. This facility has exposed the surrounding community to toxic substances for decades. Lead, arsenic, cadmium, and others. Those substances have real health consequences. You've heard a few of those things. Cancer, neurological disorders, respiratory illness, infertility, more. Yukon residents already live with days where the air is so bad it's difficult to breathe. Children can't play outside. Enough is enough. Our children and your constituents deserve better. Max is currently under the 2 federal consent orders for violating environmental laws that Michael mentioned. Their history should disqualify them from further permitting. Michael gave the information on where those comments should be sent to. We need your help. Please request that the DEP hold a public hearing so that the residents can be heard. We urge, and please urge the DEP to deny the permit based on Max's repeated violations. So thank you for standing up for our health.
Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Jessica Brooks Rosedale, and I'm a lifelong Westmoreland County resident. I am asking you to oppose the renewal of air quality permit 65-00101 for Max Environmental Technologies in Yukon County, Westmoreland County. I can only show up here at 10 a.m. on a weekday because I'm a disabled veteran. My disabilities are related to toxic burn pit exposure overseas in Afghanistan. I have chronic issues with bronchitis, sinusitis, and many other issues that stem from those. I know more than anyone what toxic exposure can do to people long term. I am here for my brother and his wife who have to work. I am here for his kids that want to grow up here. And I am here for every Westmoreland County resident who wants to grow up in an environment free of pollution. According to the EPA, Max has the largest source of airborne lead pollution in Westmoreland County. That doesn't stay behind the fences, that doesn't stay within our property lines, that leaches into our water, that leaches into our air, and it goes where it wants. We saw that with in what happened with the train collision in East Palestine. Max is currently under 2 federal consent orders due to violations of RCRA and the Clean Water Act. Their chronic non-compliance makes it clear they cannot be trusted with our health. And now, with the federal government and the EPA slashing their regulations regularly, it is up to yins right here to look after your local residents. Because the federal government doesn't seem like it's doing it anymore, so it's time for yins to pick up the slack. So I respectfully ask you to oppose the renewal of air quality permit 65-00101 and request DEP hold a public hearing in Yukon and ask that the air permit be denied. Thank you for your time.
Is there anyone else?
Good morning, County Commissioners. Good morning, audience. My name is Ashton Manzetti, and I'm a resident of Greensburg. Today, I stand here as a resident of Westmoreland County to talk about Max Environmental Services, specifically against the renewal of the permit 65-00101. You know, as others have said, the problems affecting Yukon don't affect just Yukon. They affect the entire county. And no one wants to see high cancer rates, problems like ALS, Parkinson's disease, or there have also been reports of infertility issues and miscarriages. And you know, my heart goes out to mothers and fathers that have suffered due to the 270 plus violations since just 2002 by Max Environmental Services. You know, and as I went through the list of the medical issues and the violations, I was wondering whether Max or the Department of Environmental Protections or even members of the Westmoreland County Commissioners would be able to explain to my 10-year-old nephew who lives in Greensburg why he can't go to Yukon and play with friends that he has there. Or someday in the near future, he can't go outside even here in Greensburg because of the air quality. You know, Article 1, Section 27 of the Pennsylvania Constitution says that Pennsylvania's public natural resources are the common property of all the people. And it repeats that. It says all of the people, including generations yet to come. And as a trustee of these resources, the Commonwealth shall conserve and maintain them for the benefit of all people. So per the Pennsylvania Constitution, at the end of the day, the Department of Environmental Protections and Westmoreland County must say no to this renewal. Thank you for your time.
Is there anyone else this morning?
Good morning, my name is M. Huff. I'm from Mountain Watershed Association. I'm a community organizer with this nonprofit, and I work a lot on the air quality issues that we're seeing in the watershed. For those of you that don't know us, we work in the Youghiogheny River watershed to protect and preserve it from past and future pollution. Probably expectedly, I'm also here to talk about the Max Environmental Air Quality permit that's up for renewal. I don't want to repeat what the residents have said, but just to add some extra context for what is being proposed in this permit, DEP conducted a compliance eval in April regarding this permit and found that Max is accepting waste that contains lead from firing ranges, waste from zinc smelting, sandblasting waste, amongst other hazardous materials. The facility processes wastewater treatment sludge, corrosives, arsenic, barium, cadmium, hexavalent chromium, lead, selenium, electric arc furnace dust, amongst many other sources of pollution, and also has expressed interest in slag mixing pits in the future. Emission sources include things like waste mixing pits, residual waste landfill of 16 acres, paved and unpaved roadways, parts washers, open top leachate tanks, gasoline generators, and diesel generators. Obviously this is very concerning, especially for a facility that has a history of non-compliance and is currently under 2 EPA consent orders. MWA has been conducting air monitoring for some time, and our results are concerning as well. In particular, with regard to air emissions, they have a history of exceeding lead emissions, a pollutant for which there is absolutely no safe level of exposure, and particularly concerning with air pollution, again, for which there is no safe level of exposure due to the nature of humans' respiratory system. Air pollution can have cardiovascular, neurological, and even carcinogenic effects. And additionally, air pollution can settle into the air and soil, adding additional pathways of exposure. This area already experiences a disproportionate impact from air pollution from various other industries in the area. So any additional burden on residents would exacerbate current health conditions in the area, which is already known for higher rates of pre-existing cardiovascular, neurological, and cancer rates. So what we're asking you to do, we all know that the decision to approve or deny permits does not lie with the county commissioners, but there are things that you can do to help us out with this and help out the residents of Yukon. As mentioned, please consider writing letters to DEP requesting that this permit be denied. Help adding your voices to this is extremely valuable and can show support. Please also request that DEP consider this an environmental justice area. We know that Max is in an environmental justice area, but at this time is not being given the extended community engagement opportunities. And then additionally request that a public hearing is held prior to any decision making on this permit. Thank you.
Is there anyone else this morning?
All right, I'm going to change it up a little bit what we're talking about. So I'm Abby Grant-Pardis, I'm from Murraysville, and I'm making the same request I did last time, which is some meeting transparency. So these public meetings, as we know, are at 10 a.m. on a Thursday when most of us are working. Some evening meeting options would make a significant difference for constituents' ability to access what the county commissioners are doing. The easier and obvious solution is streaming these meetings and archiving them online. We should all have access to what the commissioners are doing. I've emailed you all, and I also spoke about this last meeting, so I really would appreciate at some point maybe a comment about this. Commissioner Kopis did respond, which I appreciate. Most people hate speaking in public. I obviously don't, because I keep showing up here, and I will be back here next time. As long as it takes for some acknowledgement of what seems to be an obvious and simple solution. It takes a great deal of bravery for concerned citizens to stand in front of career politicians and express their concerns. You, as the commissioners, should be brave enough and respect us enough to stand in front of all your constituents and fellow citizens to make your work available to us. So I will continue to advocate for more meeting accessibility and online options. The voices of these citizens who came today should also be able to be heard by everyone. When I was telling somebody else about the situation in Yukon, I made a reference to Aaron Brockovich. They have no idea what I was talking about because apparently it was 25 years ago and I'm kind of old now. But it would seem to be obvious by now that we should not accept corporations slowly poisoning us just for profit. That's it. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.
Is there anyone else this morning?
Hi, my name is Christine Faith, and I'm here from the Rostraver Smithton Library Board. Mine is basically not a concern, it's just to thank the county for providing us funds like you do, but I do also want to bring to your attention a new initiative that we are starting called Raise the Roof, which is just an initiative to basically try to improve our Rostraver Smithton Library. Libraries in this modern age are places of learning and places of knowledge and safe places for youth that offer services and information to move along in life. Libraries will always be an important part of society, and the better we utilize these services and change with the times, the better we will be able in the future for generations to come. So for our libraries in Rostraver and Smithton, we are starting a capital improvement program that, if successful, will keep our local libraries fully functional and moving towards these goals. And we do have some top priorities. We are looking to raise money for a new roof for our library, entrance sign, new pavement, landscaping, HVAC, lighting, and entry at the Smithton Library. So we do appreciate your continued support, and we just wanted to bring this to your attention. So thank you.
Is there anyone else this morning for public comment? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the solicitor's report.